Integrity.
KEATS, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, man?
Man, how you doing, man?
Blessed, highly favored.
Come on, man. I love to hear it.
Yes,
I love
sir.
to hear it, bro. Let's talk to him, KEATS.
Let's do it.
You living or you surviving?
Oh, man, I'm living.
Come on, man. I love it. I love it. Explain.
Living, man. Whew. It's been a journey, man.
Come
This
on.
whole journey, I mean, I'm not going to act like I don't know you, bro. Like,
Respect.
man,
You
it's
already
just
know
a
it.
pleasure, to be here.
Yes, sir.
And really, God has been step by step, lamp
That's right.
underneath my
That's
feet,
right, bro. I
man.
love
And
it.
I've been, being given new vision,
Come
being
on.
given ears to hear,
Absolutely.
heart to understand his
Come on.
mind and
Come
what
on.
he wants, bro. And I've been broken. I've been broken and letting him put me back together.
Come
and
on,
it has
bro.
been way better and way more exciting, fun, and ventureful and fulfilling than me
Go
trying to
ahead.
lead myself, man.
You're
Blind
saying
leading the
something.
blind,
Come
everybody
on, bro.
lost.
Saying
So,
something.
man, I've really just given my life to him, and it has been, woof.
Brother, I love
I
it.
highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. Not even on
Wow, go
no
ahead, bro.
preachiness. Like, it's just it's way better because times are getting darker. You feel me?
Absolutely,
And,
bro.
when eggs get $6.50 for
Come
a
on.
carton of 6, like, you need some help.
You need some help. Absolutely. I love it, bro.
I know Christ can do all, and
Yes, he can.
He's been working out. He's been proven to me. The faith has been proven.
Wow.
Faith is not blind. You can see the works,
Come on,
right?
bro.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, I've been living through the living God. Hit a
love
button
it.
on
I
that.
love it, KEATS. You already know I'm bringing all 6 of them in. You already know it, my brother. You already know it, bro. But I appreciate you expanding that early on in this interview, man, with that, because we all need that. We all need that, bro. Like, you are a light, a beacon, you are a source, and we're not gonna act like it's the first time us speaking, bro.
Yes, sir.
I know who you are,
Yes.
and you are a light. And I appreciate you being here, bro. Integrity Response. You already know what it is. Welcome to the Integrity Response with your brother, CEO Khacki. Every individual sitting across from me doesn't believe in being typical, ordinary, or familiar. They're elite, meaning society's norms don't sit well with them. They believe in raising the bar for themselves, family, and for those they may never meet. From those in humble beginnings to those in the midst of greatness and legends who've paved the way. With a comedic edge, I will ask the questions that hold value, and I believe we'll gain insight to the real them. It's the Integrity Response. Man, KEATS, let's take him back.
All right, let's do it.
Before producing,
Before producing.
before entrepreneurship,
Okay.
before becoming a recording artist, before becoming pretty much a serial entrepreneur. At the age of 9, what did you want to be?
The age of 9, what did I want to be? Man, I wanted to be a couple different stuff. Wanted to be an Olympic track star
Gotcha, come on.
at one point. I was fast. I was small, but I was fast.
Gotcha.
But I always had I saw myself as being an inventor
Gotcha.
of sorts.
Come on.
I didn't know exactly what it was going to be, but I was addicted to like the Erecta sets and, putting blocks together, Legos,
Gotcha.
and, just cracking the code. I just
Gotcha.
loved, figuring something out and showing either my parents or myself, hey, figure it out. Look what I
What I
did.
can
And-
do. Right,
yeah,
right.
exactly. And just seeing that awe in
Absolutely.
people. So I wanted to create a new thing. I always had that in me, you know?
You had this thing where you like to be challenged.
Absolutely. I can't. I'm bored if I'm not challenged.
Real,
right?
absolutely. What was your favorite subjects growing up?
Math and science.
Bro, that is absolutely sounds just about right.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Which one did you favorite the most, or do you consider them almost in the same?
I mean, I still do. I had an appreciation for math, and I saw the wonders, but I wasn't necessarily the best at it. Right? You could be a fan of football, you could be a fan of basketball, but you can't shoot a bucket to save your life. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like that.
Gotcha.
Because my mind is just not wired to, and this is after a lot of self-searching, my mind isn't wired to hold things, hold numbers.
Gotcha.
And, organization is not necessarily my strong suit, but the lack of organization helps me be free.
Wow.
And it also helps with my writing. And,
Gotcha.
when you can get an idea and it wants to flee on its own, it just allows you to keep the pipeline going.
Absolutely.
When you can't hold on to stuff, it's like, okay, this is good, pocket it, and that just helps you write stuff. If it's a good idea, it's gonna go away, so you write it down. If it's really good, you take note of it. And that's how you manage that. But yeah, math, I really love it, and I see the power in it,
Go
and I
ahead.
know everything is a foundation.
That's
but
right.
science was like magic to me.
Gotcha. You actually, you beatbox to the T. Come on. Come on, bro. Like, do you consider that part of math too? Like, timing?
Nah.
You don't even.
That's all soul. It's all feeling.
Wow.
I remember. So my father, he created his own CD, and I come from a musical household. My cousin Alan Toussaint, Lifetime Achievement Award winner.
Gotcha.
He created
Shout out to him, man.
yeah,
That's what's up.
Lady Marmalade.
Come on.
All this stuff, worked with the greats. I remember he had 2 Rolls Royces.
Wow,
like,
bro.
crazy,
Okay, so you've
bro.
seen some.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that was he's my cousin, so that's the musical standard in our family. So
Wow.
it's like, I listened to my dad's CD growing up. My dad, he played the bass, he played the
Gotcha.
drums, he played everything on his CD. And this was a time he didn't
Wow.
have Pro Tools and everything. You had to go to the studio,
Live.
get the time, run it on tape. The cassette type. So it
Dedication.
was, you had to get that take right.
Absolutely.
So
Did you hear him, practicing a lot in the home too?
no, well, the CD was out before I was born.
Gotcha.
Or like
Okay,
right when,
so
so
he
I
was-
was born into the my dad has a
absolutely.
CD,
Wow,
a
bro.
bunch of
Wow.
CDs. So I would listen to it, and like there was beatboxing on it.
Come on.
And I just wanted to do it, so I did it. And yeah, it just can't. But then it started to. I invented that. I wanted to always be a DJ. I wanted to
Gotcha.
scratch, and that's another thing.
Absolutely.
I wanted to do,
Gotcha.
so.
Is that something you fulfilled or?
Yeah, I've done it. I've done it, but I
definitely.
realized I wanted to. It was just something I'd put in my belt. Like I could do it, but that wasn't the end goal for me.
Absolutely.
So
Just multi-talented bass guitar drums. Like I can.
yeah, and I learned a lot
beatbox
from
in.
DJing because I DJed in college.
Gotcha.
I had a system that somebody gave me, and I was able to do weddings. Quick
Wow.
200 off
Come
the
on, right, absolutely,
Yeah, exactly.
absolutely.
So
That's real.
Yeah, but you learn a
Wow.
lot. You learn when you DJ, you understand that people are really like sheep. You can move the people with sound. How important sound is. How you can. The DJ can be responsible of that baby getting made when you get home. Of that person, their song comes on. That song gave them the confidence to talk to that girl they've been
Saying
thinking about
so.
all night.
Powerful.
That song took them back to a time. It's just you really and you see it from the boards because everybody on the dance floor, they're in the moment, right?
Absolutely.
But you're controlling the moment, and it's very
MC.
powerful. Yeah,
Master of
yeah,
ceremony.
exactly,
Absolutely,
master of
bro.
ceremony.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been. But when I started to DJ with the beatboxing, I was like, yo, that sound is just so dope. Like I wanted to scratch, so I'm like, what if I can? Integrity, response,
Crazy.
tight.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Real, bro. Like it. Just because I did my homework. You are athletic as well.
Yes.
Did you could flip probably still to this day.
Yeah,
You real.
backflips.
Absolutely. Did you ever the dancing along with the DJing along with the scratching? Hip hop in general, is that did you take on to that form too as well?
Hip hop was. It's not just music. Hip hop
Absolutely.
is the culture.
Absolutely.
And being from New York, my dad, not only am I from New York, my dad grew up in the Bronx.
Gotcha.
He was born in 57, so he went through like the Bronx where
Real.
hip hop formed. He knew Bambaataa.
Gotcha.
He knew all the graffiti artists that were, a part of it, and he grew up in it. And they knew him. So he was very influential in my life as far as hip hop goes.
Right.
And you're beholden to what your parents want to play on the speakers.
That's
so
right,
I had
that's right.
not only just the hip hop, I was cultured on the Herbie Hancocks, on the Earth, Wind and Fire.
Come
Weather Report, all
Real.
that, Crown Heights Affair.
Wow.
So I had a very
Broad
palette, right?
Absolutely.
But when it came to hip hop, what I wanted to listen to was the 50 Cents, the Eminems, the
come on.
Missy Elliott,
Absolutely.
Timbaland, Pharrell,
Absolutely.
all of that, and the Neptunes. And all of that together creates a monster
It does,
of
bro.
understanding
Come
of
on.
everything. But I also picked up on, I'm watching the media, and back in the 90s, it was very hip hop focused media
Absolutely,
with Bow
bro.
Wow
Come
and
on, bro.
all the
Absolutely.
cameos, and it was just
Absolutely.
infectious. If you're like
It
that,
was
like
different.
BET 106 in Park,
Come on,
like you
bro.
wanted to be that. So I would see like Step Up 2 and,
Right, that's
and
right.
You Got Served,
Come on,
and like
right.
I knew I could do it. So I got my cardboard out.
That's what I was
Windmills,
Absolutely,
windmills,
bro.
like 6 steps. And
Come on.
when YouTube came out, it's like how to windmill,
Real.
how to
Right, bro.
backflip. So I'm like, yo, I'm going crazy. So yeah, I had a lot of grass,
Come
had a
on,
lot of
bro.
free time.
Absolutely. But you said you had to know. You was that type of kid, very ambitious. Like
Couldn't
if I
sit
don't
still.
know, I had to.
Had to be challenged.
How was school, the classroom for you? You seem like the type that's like, you could get bored easily or lost in the sauce. Like, I know very smart, but I'm saying you look like they had to challenge you a lot.
Yeah, Yeah, they did have to challenge me a lot, but I would create the challenges for myself. I remember around 3rd grade, it was a challenge who could finish the math problems. I wouldn't struggle with the math problems. It's like, I bet you I can finish this faster than you. And like, I point to my boy Oscar, and he'd be like, oh, I'm done. It's like, oh, dang. And then we go out on recess, and then we're like, I bet you I can foot race you faster than you. Like, but as you got older, like, because in the beginning stage, like elementary school, the math, multiplication isn't easy, but once you learn that, and then you get into middle school and high school, when it gets to the APs, and then you just start learning about random white men and white facts and colonialism and trickle-down economics. It's like, do we really have to is this essential? I understand in 5th grade and 4th grade I had to learn, this is what molecules are. This is, the foundation. But when you start just adding filler, it's like, and then I started getting talks a lot in class because it's like, bro, this stuff doesn't even really matter anyway. You're probably having as the teacher, you're probably having a better time with Kevin in your class, with KEATS in your class, brightening up your day. You're probably going home telling your cousin, yo, this guy, KEATS was cutting up today. Like this, you know what I mean? But they gotta put talks a lot in class, disturbs others. But like, bro, I thrived off like, if I could get you to grab your gut.
Come on, absolutely.
Stop, chill. Like, those were the best moments for me. And,
so you always knew you had a knack for entertainment.
Oh, I did, yeah, for sure. Wow. And my uncles were a hoot. Like, everyone was just entertainment. Like, did you ever watch the show? I don't even know if we talked about this last time. What's Happening with Rerun?
A little bit before my time.
A little bit before your time?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So they had, I think it was on, TV Land it used to be, but like.
But it was, you watched the reruns. You watched the.
I had a lot on VHS, bro.
Gotcha. That's what's up.
But my cousin Haywood, he would say, hey, and he had like the big afro. That's my cousin. So I would see him when he'd come to visit.
You're saying this is your real cousin?
That's my cousin. That's what I grew up around. So there was just a lot of entertainment in my family. So I understood it, and my family was just naturally funny. So I picked up on it, but I was very quiet myself. I was an observer. Until I was in my own element around my friends.
Gotcha.
But I didn't necessarily like being the spotlight. Ironic.
It's just you and your older sister.
Yes.
Gotcha. So that we spoke last time. She went on to become a doctor. I want to say doctor. Come on, man. That's
she's
what's
a
up.
doctor.
So did she have that knack for like the spotlight, or was she reserved like yourself?
She was reserved. She didn't crave the spotlight. She wasn't jokey. She really was. She was like a laser focus, where I was more like a shotgun.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she would laser in on her work. She'd get the 98s, the 99s. I'm like, bro, as long as I get the A, B plus, like I'm good. Like I had a range I was okay with.
Gotcha.
But she was like, no, I need to be ace, and highly commendable. Like she has down to track. She was also athletic.
So
we both ran track.
Gotcha. That's dope.
And there's a picture of her where she's like this, and it's just medals
on
her neck, all around, just like looped and amazing, absolutely crazy.
What was your specialty in track?
100 and the 200.
Oh, so you were fast.
I started to really be competitive when I reached college.
Gotcha.
So I ran for Florida Tech
man.
because I was always smaller. I was, I look young now.
Come on now.
So that started to. I started to be on par in college. So I was running 21.6 in the 200.
Wow. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Wait a minute. Okay, let me see if I know. All right, the record for 200 is 1917?
I think it's like 1919.
Gotcha. Yep, 1919. You say that's right. That is fast.
Yeah.
21. That is fast, bro. That's fast. Come on, man. That's what's up.
I mean, but they say a second is a lifetime.
That is right. Tell it to the average man, right?
Yeah, but 21.
Right. Come on, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah. I was moving. I was cooking.
That's
and I was a walk on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bro.
So I know I started 23.75. That was my first time, official time, and then I trained over the summer. I was actually. They wanted us to wake up at 5 a.m. to go into the weight room, and I was like, nah, because we had changed coaches, and I was like, I'll work out myself, and I got Sean T Insanity, and I started working on that, and I noticed when I went back for the season, I ran 21.6.
God, you put on a lot of muscle mass, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. Because they had the reason why I walked on is because I did not do good my first semester.
Gotcha.
I started mechanical engineering.
Okay.
I goofed off my first semester, got a 1.4. And I didn't know what a cumulative GPA was.
Gotcha.
So no one really told me that, I thought I'm just going to make it up next semester. I'll just, have fun my first semester, and then I'll buckle down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
What's the worst that could happen?
Right.
But it's like, oh yeah, nah, that drags you the whole rest of your 4 years. I'm like, what? Why would anyone do that?
Right.
So I said, I need to make sure to catch up I need to make sure I get my classes, and athletes get early registration.
Gotcha.
So I decided to become an athlete, walked onto the track team, and I started killing it. I was I was an anchor in the 4x1.
Come on.
I hit 10.8 in the 100.
Wow.
So anything below 11 seconds, it's valid.
Very
it's valid.
fast.
Yeah. 10-second club, they call it.
That is absolutely. You know, Christian Coleman on his worst days, like the 10.01. You know, like, absolutely,
exactly.
That's really
good. If you can reach that 10, it's like, okay, I can be in the conversation.
Come on, that's real. That's dope.
Yeah.
So a kid from Long Island, young kid from how does he end up? You know, what made you take that leap to Florida?
Oh man, I was into a lot of boarding, right? So I would skateboard, I would longboard, snowboard, and I had this vision of going to college, and I wanted to surf. I was never really around water, so it's like I kind of had my parents were open to me choosing a school that I wanted to go to, and I knew I wanted to go for engineering at the time. So I said, some of the best schools in engineering, Florida Institute of Technology was one of the best, top 200 in the world.
Wow.
So I said, hey, I want to go here. He was like, all right, we'll make it work. So I went down there, but I knew that I know they were right on the coast. They were right to the beach. I just wanted to be in my schoolwork and surf, schoolwork and surf, schoolwork and surf. And that was my vision, right?
Real, absolutely.
So I went down there, found a group of friends. They would, we went out. And I found out
in school as well?
Yeah, in school, in the same school.
Sure.
And they're like, yeah, you want to surf? Let's go. So we went out early. You can catch the swells early and everything. And waiting for the waves, like you can have a vision in your head, but like I get seasick waiting for the waves. Where I'm like, physically, it's not a enjoyable.
Gotcha.
And I tried it 3 times.
Were you a swimmer in New York? Did you always knew how to swim?
I could swim, but I would just sink.
Gotcha.
Because I'm an Eagle Scout, so you have to. It was required.
Gotcha.
But I have my own, timeline and story with swimming. I could swim, but it obviously, I'm a lot better on land.
Gotcha. Absolutely, it's real.
I'll never be a lifeguard.
So you're saying, that part, but you just had to do it. You knew part of you have this thing where you're like, seek it, find out, accomplish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like that's who you are. Like
I've always been I follow the vision. And I had that vision.
Where do you get your fearlessness from?
Fearlessness? I guess a better question is, where do you get your fear from?
Integrity.
Wow. Where do you get your fear from? You're a man of integrity, a man of God. Like, how do you?
Yeah, I mean, also playing trumpet. Trumpet was very influential, and I was leading my trumpet section in school from 4th grade.
Oh, wow.
So that would call, when you lead your trumpet section, your first chair.
Absolutely.
When there's solos, and a lot of times trumpets have solos.
Gotcha.
A lot of times.
Okay.
So I would have the trumpet solos.
Gotcha.
I was in jazz band. The jazz band, you stand up and you solo, you improv. So I would be at front. I'd be, playing out there in front of people, and I would also go to church.
Gotcha.
And I would play hymns, and other people from guest churches would ask me to come out, and I didn't even know at the time, but I was on tour, playing, when the Saints go marching in, doing hymns and everything. So that helped my confidence in being used to performing under pressure situations, but it was never a fear.
Right.
Yeah.
Just being, wow.
You become accustomed to certain environments.
Absolutely.
Everything is familiarity.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You were actually, this is during college or right in college, you were IT manager as well.
No, so after college.
Okay,
after college.
gotcha.
So I switched my major to marketing.
Okay.
Business administration and marketing. And I knew I wanted to rap and pursue content, social media at that point.
Gotcha.
So again, I had a plan. I had to plan out. I said, okay, I want to pursue music, and I have this degree to get a 9-to-5.
Gotcha.
Where do I want to go? And it was either LA, too expensive. New York, I'd have to live with my parents, not doing that. Miami, too busy, bustling, it's hot, humid. I'd never really liked Miami, and plus, I don't want to be further in Florida. So I said, Atlanta was just like, bing, 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 bing. Wow. I already have some family here. I knew it was the South, so it'd be affordable. I could probably offer entry-level job. I know it was, tech, it was booming.
Absolutely.
So Atlanta just made sense, and I started applying, and I got this job as an IT client manager.
You said something that's important and is key. You said, here, there. Back to New York, my family, my parents. Nope.
Yeah, no.
Explain that just for the viewers, because
I didn't want to move back with my parents.
No, because it sounds crazy, but I want you to know, that sounds crazy, but that's the safest option.
Well, yes,
80 to 90% of people would have done.
For sure, but you had everything. My goal came first. And my goal at the time, I was going to be a rapper.
Come on.
So I'd be sitting here making beats, recording my take, and then what happens if when you hear, hey yo, ready? Kevin, come and take out this garbage right now. I couldn't have it. I couldn't have it. Couldn't have it. Couldn't have it. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it at all.
Real. So,
you know, creaking up the steps and all that. No.
Absolutely. That's real. So
and also, I'm coming off of 4 years, and I didn't get to come home very often because I'm in Florida and New York. Those flights can be expensive. So, and also, I'm an Eagle Scout. I'm used to going away on trips almost every weekend. So under a tent. What you talking about? I gotta, I can get some friends out here. We split the rent. Just get a job. I was very good on my own. It's like I was already conditioned to be away.
Wow.
Right?
That's dope. That's dope, man. So let's get into the music, man.
Okay.
So when did you know, entertainment we spoke on, but the music, this idea, this gift to rap, to paint a picture, the melody with your voice. How did you know it was time for that?
That it was time? I knew my freshman or sophomore year in college.
Gotcha.
I did a project.
Okay.
And it was an English type project, so you could do anything creatively.
Okay.
And it was like you could write a poem, you can draw a picture, you can do this.
Right.
And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do a rap because that's probably gonna make. I was always, whenever you give me creative freedom, I'm gonna do it the most entertaining way for myself. Right. So
you be pleased with it.
Right. So I did a thing called the Florida Tech Commandments.
Gotcha.
And it was basically, I took Biggie Small's 10 Crack Commandments.
Gotcha.
And I did the Florida Tech Commandments. And it was just basically me going down a list from 10 to 1 about when you're on campus, things that you know. Like I could be like, oh yeah, that is true. Like, oh, they're like, shit over here really is expensive.
Gotcha.
Or, in Florida, the sprinklers, they put sulfur in the sprinklers, so they smell like crap.
Gotcha.
So it's like, yo, we know the sprinklers come on at 10. Make sure you're inside already because you're gonna be walking through that dirt water. And so I would just put stuff like that, and the flow. I've always had flow.
Absolutely.
And that comes from my musical timing and just knowing it. Flow has never been an issue. That's been my strongest suit or attribute when it comes to rapping. So yeah, it was a peer review.
Gotcha.
So people, they wrote notes and they're like, yeah, you should really do this seriously. Like, you actually make good music. Like, and I'm just flipping through them. I'm like, yo, there's a lot of people and I do want to do this.
Right.
So yeah, let me do this for real.
Come on.
And I was like, yeah, I could do this. And my dad had Pro Tools at the crib.
Right.
So when I'd go back to New York, we'd be in the studio and we'd just be making stuff. And it was really bad at first. Nothing was hitting radio. Absolutely. But I started to learn what doesn't work. It was a lot of learning what doesn't work.
Absolutely.
I used to rap from a very high range.
Gotcha.
I used to rap very fast, lyrical.
Who did you get that from? Who do you attribute that to?
Probably Eminem.
Gotcha. Classic.
Yeah. But there's a lot. I just thought rapping faster was better because it was more challenging for me. But when it comes to music, you have to be relatable for people to like it. If people really can't keep up with you and understand what you're saying and feel like they can, they say it's not a hit if you can't whistle it.
Bar. I never heard that.
Yeah,
bro.
really. Yeah,
that's a bar.
Yeah, it's not a hit if you can't whistle it. My dad always say, tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree.
Wow.
Has to be simple.
Has to be.
That's why Drake is a master at what he does.
Absolutely.
He picks up, just he can understand what the body, because I always say that the body has to love it before your mind will like it.
Wow.
Because that's why you could be in the passenger seat on your phone, not worrying about whatever is playing on it, but then that one song come like, hey yo, what is this?
Yep.
That wasn't you that decided. That was your body
true.
made you turn like, oh, I like, my body feels this. I like this. What is it? Then you inquire. So I always try to, and that's when the best people who make music and sonics understand psychology.
Absolutely.
You have to understand the body and the brain, kind of like DJing.
That's a fact.
So I started to get that bug caught me. Like I'm like battling. I'm not battling you. I'm battling the being. Yeah.
When did you? So you're Mount Rushmore. Who is on that Mount Rushmore?
Of what?
Hip hop.
Hip hop. First name comes Pharrell.
Classic.
Mount Rushmore of hip hop. Pharrell. I'll say Missy Elliott.
Classic.
Timbaland. Because when you say hip hop, like
ahead.
there's people that make the sound. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Pharrell, Tim, Missy Elliott. Man, who am I gonna say?
Wow.
I'll put Biggie on there.
Classic.
Yeah.
So everybody you spoke on has dynamic vocal range. They, beatboxer, you spoke on a high pitch, low pitch, whatever it is, but they know how to make a song complete.
Absolutely.
You even incorporate your beatboxing in your production, as Timberland, of course, we all know does. Like, you grew up seeing what he did. Like, wait a minute, you can do that? Like, you can, like, that's...
Nothing is out of bounds.
Absolutely, nothing. Bro. Wow. What about your actual hip-hop artists?
Hip-hop artists? Man.
I know Drake is in there.
Yeah, well, Missy Elliott, I gotta go hip-hop artists. Eminem. I'm just gonna start naming people who have just influenced me. So you have Eminem. I'm gonna put Michael Jackson in there because she's major influence. There's no way. Biggie, Method, Redman,
Freedom,
Kendrick, obviously, Drake.
I was about to say, was 50 in there?
50's in there, but like I would pick up the swag from him.
Gotcha.
Like, like he had a swag and delivery. Jay-Z's in there, obviously. Push, just Neptunes, that whole vibe.
Absolutely.
Man, there's just so many people that have given so much to hip hop.
Come on, that's right. Absolutely.
It's a big list.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I would say I picked up, me personally, Eminem taught me that I can be characters. I can voice different, like, oh no, Miss Johnson, how are you? And then come back to, I can be 2 different people, 3 different people, 4 different people at once, and it's okay. Missy Elliott taught me the delivery of like swag, like the I'm giving it to, like, just like, you can be as saucy as you want with it, right?
Yes, bro.
Super duper fly,
bro. She just painting a picture. I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna paint a picture.
Yeah, I can shave my choke chop.
right.
Bro, like she did not care.
Absolutely,
it was wild. Ludacris, amazing.
Busta, Ludacris, they all on the same.
Put your hands where my eyes can see. Bro. Production wise and delivery, man. Even
I forgot who produced. I'm trying to forget who produced that.
I don't know who produced it. I watched the interview on Instagram about how they produced it. Right. I don't think it wasn't like a Timberland or something. It was someone else.
Gotcha.
Wow. I don't want to say ill mind, but I don't know. It was a goat.
Wow, absolutely. Wow, bro, that's dope. If you could go back and give your 18-year-old self any type of advice, what would you tell them?
My 18-year-old self?
Yes.
What would I tell them? Man, I would tell them 18. Man, I don't know, because I wouldn't want to tell them something and steer them off this path, but I would just say, keep your family close, keep God closer, and seek the truth and be as authentic as possible. Be loyal to the people you love, and loving your enemies is the greatest revenge you could ever have.
Wow.
And understand that there is so much bigger than you.
Go ahead.
Because you can have sort of an invincibility complex when you're around 18, right? And if your parents protect you, and if they do everything right, if they don't let anything touch you, it could make you think that you have this bubble around you.
Gotcha.
But yeah, just understand, know God, and think for yourself, and understand that everyone is not you, right? And other people's opinions are their own.
Absolutely.
So what other people think about you is none of your business. I know it can be difficult to go against the grain, but you'll find out soon enough that you are in the world, but you're not of it.
Go ahead.
Right? Wow. So you have a different. They call it anointing, but that might be a little much for people, right? They call it an anointing.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm different. You're different.
Absolutely.
That's what I'd say. So and look at the people around you. Envy is a serious thing. There's a reason why people don't, why it's difficult for you. There's a reason why you'll just experience random hate when you didn't do anything. It's ordained. It's there. They see something in you that you don't even realize yourself. What do they say? It's hard to see the sweater when you're only just a thread.
Wow. Wow. Never heard that. It's a bar. Yeah. How do you navigate through it? Even in this industry, how do you navigate through that knowing that you're a light, knowing that you come from a different source? How do you navigate through it?
I follow hearing. When you look in the Bible, even when it was good, they consulted God, say, hey, what should I do? When it was bad, they consulted God and say, what did I do? When they think they should go to war, say, okay, God, what should I do? And God would respond and say, yeah, I will, go there, do this, or don't go there, don't do this. So it's okay to ask. A lot of times we think that we have to do more, and that's a lot of things. We think we have to do more than we actually have to do, but the source, the Father, God, is waiting there, waiting to be leaned on. But we want to stay up. We're like the child that don't want to go to sleep.
Absolutely.
Right? No, I can stay up. I can do it. No, I can do it. It's like, bro. I'm here to help, right? Give me work to do. You're my child. You're here. So taking yourself out of the equation is one of the most difficult things to do. So I've learned to get better at that. It is a skill. It is something that has to be owned, and repentance is just changing of the mind. Wow. It's just reframing, rewiring, reformatting what the world has put on you and conditioned you to be and think and do. So that's a lifelong process. So once you understand it's a lifelong process, it takes the immediate desire to change or the immediate pressure to change all at once. No, it's a lifelong thing. As long as you change a little bit every day or just keep mention of it, it takes the stress off 100%.
Are you hard on yourself?
Am I hard on myself? Sometimes I am. Sometimes I think that I juggle with understanding that it's not all on me,
right? But
I still have to work,
right?
I still have to, a worker's worth his wages, right? And the spirit of slumber, I've been caught in the spirit of slumber. For sure, you can get comfortable. You can just when things come in, you can just sit back, put your feet up. But no, the most successful people, they're always working.
Absolutely.
The pastors, social media stars,
absolutely,
they're always working, right? But don't think that the work you're doing yourself is the end all. Like, you have to meet God halfway, right? And if God is eternal, how much is halfway? So it's navigating how much that is.
Do you feel like you're walking in your purpose?
Absolutely.
Come on, man.
Absolutely.
Love it. Do you feel free because of that?
I do feel very free. I feel free, but I feel yoked at the same time, right? Because you follow, you bear a cross. You bear it. It's not easy, the life that I chose, but you don't want it to be too easy. No one wants anything to be too easy.
Absolutely.
Right? You have to be challenged.
You said early on, since a child, you love the challenge. You love to be challenged. Absolutely.
But it's a different challenge.
Absolutely.
It's an invisible challenge.
Come on now. Absolutely.
There's many
It's
mysteries
faith.
In this world.
Absolutely.
Many mysteries.
What drives you?
Drives me?
What keeps you driven?
The fact that there's work to be done, the fact that there's souls to be saved, the fact that I only have another 60 years left on a great day. 60, 70 years. I walk through the supermarkets and I say, how are people moving so slow when you only have maybe 70 years?
Bro, you think differently, bro.
Have to. How long is 70 years? 75 years is 2100.
I was just about to say, yeah.
It's 2025, gang. 2025. I was born in the 1900s.
Old ass.
Right. Come on. And you're telling me, bro, the clock stops for no one.
Man. Absolutely.
Come on. So I live with a sense of urgency, and it also says like, yo, what am I doing with my time here?
Go ahead. Bro, you are saying, so the purpose is,
the purpose is do as much as you can.
Go ahead.
To save souls and bring people, because one soul lost is too many.
Go ahead, bro.
Right? And if I can work and if I can have a folder, basically I'm doing my best to still live in this world, but build a folder to present when that day of judgment comes. When I have, what have you done? Okay, well, I've been blessed with these gifts. I've made content. I've made videos to make people laugh and spread joy. But I noticed that I have a platform, so I can preach gospel and make it. I feel like my content with explaining God and me playing and displaying the character of Jesus and the Father and Michael and all that. It's like, when I needed to take medicine or like pills as a kid or vitamins, my mom would crush it up and put it in my applesauce. So I didn't really notice the nutrients I was digesting. That's what I try to do with my content.
Respect.
I try to give important, life-changing, spirit feeding. I present spiritual food in a carnal nature so people can digest it without even realizing.
Absolutely, bro.
That's the best way to put it.
Absolutely.
And that is a challenge. It requires finesse.
The nutrients with the Snicker bar on top.
Exactly. Yes.
Absolutely,
yes.
bro.
And I don't care as long as you get the nutrients. That is my. I don't. And a lot of people, I feel like Christians, they need to feel like they're being loud about it. Then you get it, bro. As long as they're getting a dose of it, as long as it, and that's what I'm
powerful.
okay with.
The dose is powerful.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
Yeah, spiritual neglect, spiritual malnourishment is a serious thing.
Wow.
And because you can't see it, it's like a cavity that can grow and fester into something that's what leads to depression.
So
It annoys me the invalidity we give the spiritual, because the spiritual has such a effect on the physical.
It sure
more
does.
so than the physical
So
sometimes.
That's a fact.
Right?
So true. Absolutely.
You know, you could get punched in the face, walk it off, but if somebody says that thing that you've been insecure about your whole life, that'll cause you to spiral.
Just like that.
You know, the word is crazy. That's really a curse.
Absolutely.
You know, you curse with everyday words.
Right, bro.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to elevate people to that, you know, mind frame. They could feel lonely. The mind, the elevation and the level that you're at mentally. But hey, that's my cross to bear, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm doing the best I can with what I've been given.
Has anyone ever told you, you know, God has his hand on you?
Oh, for sure.
You're going to be a pastor, a deacon, a preacher. Has anyone ever told you that?
No one's ever deemed a job on me, but they say God is doing, because a lot of times they can't really see it themselves. They say, I don't even know what you, but you got it.
But
like,
you got it.
You know,
You're
God
doing
is on
something.
you. You can see it. God drips from you. God exudes from you.
Absolutely.
For sure. And I don't even know what that is. I don't know if it's ministry, but I see what ministers do. Have you heard of 2819?
I haven't.
The church? Woo! Pastor Philip.
I'm sorry, I have.
You have? Okay.
Pastor Philip was here about 3 months ago.
Really?
I want to say her name. She's a evangelist. She interviewed him here.
Okay.
Pastor Philip always wears black.
Yes.
He lives next door. He lives, right here. Yeah.
Wow.
And he actually, him and his wife, they should be starting a podcast here soon.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
But, yeah, Pastor Phillips. Yeah, definitely. I didn't know but yes, I definitely know who he is.
So that's
absolutely.
his church for sure. 2819. I went for the first time at their last location. They're in a transition period right now. They're moving to a new place, but
Gotcha.
It was like trying to get into it. Anointed ain't even a word, man. That man is being used. Just how he's able to break down, relate, and really talk on behalf of what God really, the message that needs to be shared and how it's shared to connect with this certain demographic and market of people. It's great. The gatherings, insane. Like you have to map out. It's like trying to get into like Disney without traffic. You know, the line is wrapped around the church.
Wow.
So I had to go and I experienced it, and it's just such love there. People are coming as they are. White people, black people,
Absolutely.
young people, old people, all walks of life. But you could tell that the spirit is in unison.
Absolutely.
Right? No one's,
Absolutely.
Saying, "Oh, look at my finest church hat."
He even just literally jeans and
yeah. Because what does that matter?
Thank you,
really?
brother.
What does that matter,
man? Come as you are. Like
the pageantry, God, filthy rags. Self-righteousness is filthy rags,
Absolutely.
man. And once you understand that, it's like, people try to keep. He says, the prostitutes, the hoes, they the ones that need to come in. Jesus sat with, the healthy people don't need a physician.
Come on, bro. Absolutely.
Right? He was sitting with the drunkards and
that's right.
The ill people and
Absolutely.
everything. Like that's who needs the help. And once you start to understand, you see the Pharisees and the people that. They talk a lot. Their lips are close to God, but their hearts are far from Him.
Absolutely.
You start to see that, and it's such a. It feels like National Treasure. You ever seen the movie National Treasure with Nicolas Cage?
I have, but I don't remember.
Go through with the bifocals.
I have, but I don't remember.
Declaration of Independence.
Absolutely.
Like there's so many maps. It's like the Bible is a map for you to see things and understand and be revealed things. Right?
Do you have a favorite scripture?
A favorite scripture?
Anything that pops out?
It's around 28:19, the last verse in the book of Matthew, when Jesus returns after his resurrection. He says, "Go forth and make disciples of all the nations." But there is also, I think it's 1 John chapter 2 verse 4. He that saith, "I know him," and follow not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him.
Wow.
Yeah, smack to the face.
It is a smack to the face. Worship me with your lips. That's real, bro.
Hearts
Like,
are far from me, bro. It's
Wow,
such,
bro.
And you'll notice how much translates. The Bible is so old. It's one of the oldest texts we have in mass production.
Bro. That's a fact.
And the way it relates to today and tomorrow. You know, the language, the names down to it. Like,
Nothing
a
new.
name like Sarah, biblical.
Absolutely.
Jacob, biblical.
Absolutely.
So it's funny how much it hits. And I pray that people have the confidence and they lose the fear. Because people, it's a strong pill to swallow when you look at the Bible. That conviction is real.
Absolutely, bro.
It's real. And that's why
Absolutely.
people, it's easy to not do your homework.
That's right.
It's
That's
easy.
right. That's right. Absolutely.
Because with that comes change. You open that book, close it, and you got work to do.
Real.
Integrity.
Real, bro. Real. That's real, Keith. About 30 seconds of your time. I really appreciate your support. With every interview, my aim is to bring integrity and fun back to the culture. And I can't do it without you. If you're enjoying this episode, please hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, and hit the like button. It helps the algorithm. I appreciate you. Back to the interview. Where did you get the name KEATS from?
KEATS from my high school English teacher.
Okay.
So, again, I was cutting up class.
Gotcha.
We were going through a romantic poetry era. And, you'd have the rows of the students in the desk.
Gotcha.
You'd put a packet in the front and pass it to the back. So we're going through the worksheets. And on the top, it was like Ode to a Nightingale, and said, John Keats, born this date, died this day. So I was like, oh, so dang, he was only like 26 when he died. And he was like, oh, well, he was 27. I'm like, no, he was 26. And I can count. And everyone was like, oh, it's not. Nah. So I went on my phone and looked it up, and I was wrong. He was like, yeah, because his birthday wasn't here yet. I was like, okay, yeah, because Keats. And so every time I went to a small school, maybe a couple hundred people. So I'd pass, the teacher, and like, hey, what's going on, Keats?
Yeah.
He would never let me live it down.
Dope.
So it became
dope.
more of a nickname, and like
Yeah.
the students that they'd start calling me Keats
Absolutely.
too, because I'm
That's
like,
dope.
bro, it was just like the joke.
That's
And
dope.
I ended up being the prom king.
Gotcha. Come on.
So I just say that so people they felt familiar with me. They were comfortable around me. But my prom date got me a huge birthday card, like one of those big, like get a big check. It was a big card. So she had a lot of people sign it, and my English teacher at the end of the year signed it, and it said HBD Keats. So fast forward years later, when I'm thinking of my rap pseudonym, my alias, I wanted something short. I wanted something that just hit the point, and I wanted it to be like organic. So I was cleaning my room, back from like a college break, and I opened up the card. Dust came off it, and it said HBD Keats right in the center. I was like, Keats. And I just knew that was it, Keats.
Wow.
Yeah. So people just started calling me Keats.
Come on, bro. That's dope. It's a memorable name.
Yeah,
It's
like the teacher DMs me sometimes to this day.
That's crazy. That's dope, man. That's dope for sure, bro. Bro, let me ask you this. What's something you learned about yourself in the last year? Just say 2024. What's something new you learned about yourself?
That I've died. I've died.
Come on,
The
bro.
person that I was last year, not the same. What I live for, how I move, like it's been like a shedding spiritually. Because the thing is, once you let Jesus in, Jesus is like a vaccine, and sin cannot live within. When Christ is in you, sin has to leave because it's not comfortable.
Wow,
it's not
bro.
there. So how you think about when you see women at a party, how you decide like, I'm a little. Let me go and cop a vape. Let me go cop an eighth. Let me go DM this shorty with no proper intention.
No intention.
Oh, you got an intention.
Well,
it's not proper. Yeah.
Right.
Let me decide what I'm consuming, what I'm reading, what I'm watching, the music I'm listening to. It's just once you get that, the spirit is in you, it overrides your preferences in the physical. So that's what I mean.
Integrity.
I've died. Like that person that I wanted, the need or the feeling to impress people or live a certain way for people. I don't care.
Bro.
Because also God uses the devil as a hammer to break you, then he puts you back together. Say that again.
Integrity.
God uses the devil as a hammer to break you, and then he will put you back together with pieces. So I've been broken, broken, and I've just wanted rest, right? So I said, I've been getting broken, and he's putting me back together, and like it's like, oh, and I'm sitting here watching him put me together. I'm like, oh, this is actually So you put that there. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Real,
I see
bro.
I see what you're doing.
And
And I've been given certain gifts. I've been able to speak in the prophetic. I've been on, it's more like an adventure now, because I notice when I'm not, the weight is taken off me. Right.
Bro.
And once you don't have those convictions because you're living the way, it may not be fun to the flesh, but you don't have that spiritual guilt with that
weight that comes with it.
The weight.
That's why I asked you if you're free. You feel light.
Very free.
Absolutely, bro.
But again, you also understand, I have to pray and always ask for forgiveness.
That's right,
of
bro.
course, because you are not perfect, because you're not him. But you understand that. Once you understand it, you're a work in progress, but you have to let him lead. And if you notice yourself getting astray, get back onto it.
Absolutely.
Right. So
that's to know to
I've
get back
learned.
on.
I've learned that I've died, and that the mission and the goal is souls saved and souls lost. It's like I see a scoreboard.
Wow.
I see a scoreboard like if you're like a high school gymnasium watching a game. Souls won, souls lost.
Wow.
Right? And there's different sides. Because the thing is, the enemy is always in agreement with each other.
Absolutely.
Christians and people of the spirit that are supposed to be together, we the ones butting heads. It's crazy because they're all on one accord. Satan does not cast out Satan.
The enemy's path is so wide.
It's so wide, right?
But the straight and narrow path
and narrow.
So I can understand, those on the straight and narrow path just and with each other, it's
and
so
the holy
true.
side is playing an away game because they're not in the world, they're of it. You're playing in a way.
Absolutely.
All the fans, all the pantry, everyone that you're seeing is a different jersey than you, right? And it's so, we fight. Oh no, this is probably my favorite. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities and dark and high places.
That's right.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
Ephesians.
bro.
It's so powerful because it's like there's another world you can't see that you're operating in. You're in it. But you have to
be above,
navigate,
absolutely,
be above
to even
it.
know what.
Right. You have to see through different eyes, right? And it's dark powers. So if you're dark powers, you have to be in the darkness to see the light.
Wow.
Right? You can't see light if it's already lit. So there's so many mysteries, and I love just being given revelation. Also, I learned that if you're in math class, right, and you're learning a new topic, you know how you get that, when you understand it?
Absolutely.
But sometimes it's like, you be in high school, you didn't really get it. You just said, so you can just move on. Right. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Exactly right. We
But
get it back here.
When it actually clicks for you, you didn't do that yourself. When it clicks, it clicks. Who's in charge of it clicking? Who's in charge when you get it? Who's in charge of when you understand that? What's that called? It's what? It's revealed to you. That's revelation. So the Holy Spirit decides when you're to know something, when you're supposed to understand something, when everything. So when you understand that you don't understand nothing, you don't know nothing unless God deems it so.
Wow.
It could be the simplest thing, but if He's keeping it from you
for a reason.
Right, yeah, it's for a reason, but when He reveals it to you, so that's why I ask for, a lot of times I ask for wisdom, I ask for revelation, I want to understand and know more things, because it's like we have a throttle on us, we have like a choke on us mentally, because we can't know everything.
That's so true.
We don't, and that's how knowledge is so much. Like if you understand one little piece, what did Mark Twain say? He said, if you know one thing about one thing, you know one thing about all things, right? So everything is connected. So knowledge is so powerful.
Absolutely.
Just understanding one thing, right?
Who prayed for wisdom? Who was that in the Bible?
Solomon,
wasn't it? Yep,
yeah, King Solomon.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
wow.
and he was given everything else as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's real, bro. Real. How do you translate that, in the music and let's the podcast, and we're gonna get into that too. How do you translate everything as a new man into that? Because I know, you can't put Keats in a box. You can't, you'll be doing this word of injustice by putting you in a box. How do you translate everything as this new man you're walking into?
Well, that's the thing. I upset a lot of Christians because I'll speak this way. I don't have the knowledge that I have, but I'll still rap like I'm a carnal man, like in the nature. But at the same time, I think about it's me and my relationship with God.
Go ahead.
And healthy people don't need the physicians, right? So if I'm just sitting here, if I'm already a Christian rapper, the lost person isn't going to get into my net, right? So I don't have conviction when I rap about the things that everyone would rap about, when I blend into the everyday hip hop scene. But when they come to my page, when they stick around, they're like, nah, he's dope. That song, I play it on side. It's not a Christian rap song, but it's dope. Now I follow KEATS. I'm in line with KEATS. Oh, snap. He's a man of God. That is I will make you a fisher of men, right? So that is how I navigate still, God gotta have undercovers. God gotta have undercovers, right?
Integrity.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, bro, you mean I can be undercover? Like I can still exist, but bring it back?
I always say everybody can't be in the pulpit.
Right.
I always say that. It's, when you're walking in your purpose, it's something, you're destined to do. Can't be lazy on it, can't be slack with it, but it all comes back to him. If
Absolutely.
you're wise, it all comes back to him. But this path, just like you say, you have to be willing and ready when it comes time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, bro, like I know.
Because the thing is, people are in the world full-time and they treat God part-time. If I'm in the world part-time and treat God full-time, that's different. Now, when I'm part-time, I can rap about, bitches and like what I'm doing. Like, I'm trying to bring Shorty back to the crib. That's part-time.
Right.
It's part-time. But then when I come back, when I'm making my video, when you actually talk to me one-on-one, or when I have my show, it's all praise be to God the Most High, right? That's a character. That's something that's not my heart. Those are my lips. My heart is with God.
Understand.
And that's the thing with they're close to me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But they're close to me with their heart, but their lips are far from me. What's more important? It has to, if one works, the opposite has to be true as well, right? So I'm close with heart. Sometimes my lips just are service,
Creative.
It's art.
It's art.
Undercover.
Real, bro. Real. Let's get in your podcast too, bro. Like,
yes,
okay,
sir.
Come on, man. Like, let me make sure I say the name right.
Beatboxing and Bullshit.
Come on now, bro.
Integrity.
Like he said again, the lips. Bro, this is KEATS. So this podcast, bro, like, we spoke off camera about it.
Yeah.
Bro, number one is, it's bro, I'm excited to see what this is going to do.
Right.
You said, we think we said we're 20 to 25 episodes, in a sense. Look, this was the I'm going to say this was the testing ground.
Proof of concept.
Come on. Absolutely. I love it. So now, bro, like, just for the fans and new fans watching, the supporters, what can they look forward to with this?
Man, so Beatboxing and Bullshit is my own platform that I started before I had any platform. It was me taking my gift and personality and inviting artists that I had met on any walks of life, performances, inviting them into my space, and I would get to know them, see where they came from. Absolutely. Similar to this, and we would talk bullshit. We'd share a couple laughs, and at some point, are you ready to rap?
Dope.
All right, let's do it. And then they get their shit off.
Just like
they
that.
get to just rap whatever they want. They can do a verse, they could do a song, but it's just whatever it is. We're going to collaborate while I'll hold down the beatbox.
That's dope.
I'll switch it. I'll give it what it needs, and you just perform, bro. It's all whatever, and it's a organic collaboration.
Wow,
and the environment, the atmosphere it creates is so organic because it's on the fly. It's like a jam session.
Absolutely, bro.
And it's so unique.
It has a nostalgia feel. Like it really has an essence. Like you could have saw this in the late 80s. You could have saw this in the mid-90s. It has an essence to it. Like
great.
Really dope, bro. Like I'm putting you on the spot, KEATS. Can we expect this to premiere before September 1st?
Absolutely.
Come on, bro.
Absolutely. Before September 1st, I gotta get. Okay, we're in March right now.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
for sure, man.
Okay, bet, bro, bet.
Yes.
We spoke off camera, man. Like this city, Atlanta is the Mecca. Out of 10 people in Atlanta, 9 are artists. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be a lot of people knocking down the doors. How do they get in contact with you? To get on this platform, and what are you looking for? Because I know because I already seen the concepts. I already seen what you've done. It's not just. But you got spitters, you got singers on there, everybody on there. So how do they kind of get in contact with you for this?
So the page is going to be Beatboxing Bull.
Okay.
all one word, and it's on Instagram. That's mainly the main platform. If you go to Beatboxing Bull right now, you'll see some clips from years ago when I first was doing the proof of concept.
Right, absolutely.
But sending a DM, that's how it worked. Send a DM, and I'm gonna have a Google form where you can submit some of your tracks, just so I can get a feel for the level of artistry you're at.
Absolutely.
And a quick bio, maybe a YouTube video, but all that you'll be able to find at Beatboxing Bull on Instagram, and we'll hit you up and let you know if we'd like to have you on the platform. It's really easy as that.
Definitely, bro. That's dope.
For sure.
You actually, man, you know, you see this world as your canvas. You know, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
You well-traveled man. You know, as I know, you've actually, you know, been to Tokyo. You know, seen the culture, been to other places as well. Like, how do you, for man to sing, you know, your artist, recording artist, producer, man of many hats, like, how does traveling help you in your day-to-day, your world? How does that open your mind up to everything?
Man, traveling is amazing. I always saw the world as a mansion with doors I haven't opened yet.
Wow.
And when I opened up that Tokyo door, amazing, man. How people live at the foundation, I understand it's different than America. Tokyo has really been the first country. I've been to Spain.
Wow.
On like a study abroad, but I wasn't really living in it.
Okay.
But when I went to Tokyo, you understand it is a drastic different. First off, it's halfway around the world. It's like you're on the other side, right? And you go into the future when you're in Tokyo. Literally, you fly into the future. They're 13 hours ahead of us. So they're getting the sun we haven't gotten yet. So when you see that they operate on a foundation of honor, it flips the script, because black people in general are very honorable, right?
Absolutely.
You know, we pay our debts the best we can. We respect is a big culture in our basketball.
Absolutely.
Calling your fouls, respect the ball, you know, all of that. So it's insane. So when you see that in their culture, and it let me understand why anime and black people mix so well, because their humor is like ours.
Gotcha.
It's just the language barrier that we can't, you know, go back and forth at a consistent rate and trade our minds.
Gotcha.
But it's just beautiful. I'll give you physical examples. There's no cracks in the street.
Absolutely.
There's no construction that's going on that's just taking an absurd amount of time.
Absolutely.
All the lines in the street are painted. The police actually help you.
Absolutely.
When you go into 7-Eleven, when you have all your items on the counter, they take the bag, they open it, they put one item in here, they take this and put it there, they put it in here, they make sure that everything is, when you carry it, nothing falls. When here, they just $7.98.
Get up.
Like, take your bag, whatever, and then, you know, it just crumbles. Like, they actually care. There's no trash on the
cleanliness.
ground. No
Absolutely,
trash,
bro.
And the biggest thing that stands out to me is, so I was walking through a park, right? I was walking with R.E.L. He's the owner of the only black anime studio in Atlanta. I had a opportunity to do an interview with him.
Gotcha.
And he wanted to show me a store, so we walked through this park, and I forget the translation, but it means Central Park in Japanese. Wow. So we're going through, and there's a plot. Everything is green, beautiful bonsai, cherry blossoms, everything around. People are having picnics on the green grass. But then there's one section that has a yarn, like a twine around it, maybe 10 by 10, but it's brown grass. It's brown soil in the middle. I'm like, what's this? And he said, so every 2 to 3 weeks, they reseed that grass and cut it off, so that, because where you walk through it, there's brown patches, so they just uproot that section, and they do it on a consistent plot, so everything is always green at this part. And the bonsai trees, you know, like how they're like very curvy and stuff, they're life size in the park. They're like huge bonsai trees, but there's posts, like, you know, when you see those trees that have like wooden posts, so they grow straight up. Yeah, they have that, but they're on different, because they have actual agricultural engineers that want the trees to grow in a certain way just because it looks pretty. Wow. They would never do that.
We don't have that.
Boy, what? What? I'm like, bro, the attention to detail and just care about it. It's you can feel the heart in their environment.
Absolutely.
And that's why people, they sleep on the street when it's time. They party 8 to 8. So 8 p.m. they work like 40, 50 hours weeks, bro.
Have you seen the speed trains, the men, the workers during the day?
Oh yeah, the
everybody
salaryman.
suited up. These guys, they work 12, 14 hours a day. Everybody sleeps on their lunch break at work.
Yes.
It is ridiculous. Like even, it's when you get on the speed trains, I mean, out of 10 men, 8 of them have suits on.
Yes.
It's just different, bro.
But come Friday at 8 o'clock, they are out drinking.
Gotcha.
8
Enjoy it.
to 8.
Wow.
And that's the thing. After the club close at 6 a.m., the sun is coming out. People are asleep on the sidewalk. And it's like social hour.
Wow.
From 6 a.m. to around 8 a.m. And then they go and get breakfast. They have whatever. But you notice when the sun is up after the club, people are like, it's like recess out on the street. And it's like, well, this is your culture. And I noticed that because on the trains, everyone is packed, right?
Yes,
Everyone
bro.
is
Absolutely.
touching in their culture is normal. Rather than, that's why if you're walking and you brush shoulders, they don't turn around and apologize.
Absolutely.
It's just like,
It's
that's
just-
what happens.
that's what
That's what it
happens.
is. And it's also a form of like closeness,
Synergy.
fondness.
Absolutely.
It's okay. Like, I'm here with you type of thing. But like touching in our country, you don't do that, bro.
We
Like,
mentioned
bro, you could scrap.
early in the interview, we were speaking about like sense of urgency.
Yes.
Like, you see how it is there?
Very.
It's like everyone walks with a purpose.
Yes.
It's like that. It's like everyone is like, no matter what.
But they're all on the same. It's like they're a hive mind of understanding. You're in this as well as me.
I am. Go ahead.
Everyone is so independent here and of their own things. Everyone's trying to get ahead, but it's because we're all getting stepped on.
Wow.
Their society isn't a society of being stepped on, right? We're all in this together. And it's not just a propaganda. Like, it's actually like that.
Absolutely.
You can see it.
Absolutely, bro. That's so, bro.
And people love what they do too. Like that person in 7-Eleven wants to be at 7-Eleven, right? They care about the job. They want to help you,
The
make sure.
community,
Yeah,
they're part of the community. Everybody knows that these workers work here. This is there. They're probably there for a while. That's
honor.
It's different.
Honor.
Wow. What do you think that correlation is? Like you spoke on, the black culture, and also I want to speak on this too. You didn't feel, because I didn't. Me and my homies, we didn't. You didn't feel any kind of racism while you were there, did you? He said, we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
So there was one point like. So they had their cameras out and they was looking at us.
Gotcha.
And I'm thinking they trying to take a picture of like the site, but then I moved to the left and they followed me. I'm like, oh, so I'm the attraction. Okay, all right. But it's like, wherever I go, we got on like the Trap Sushi jerseys.
Gotcha, yeah.
We looking fly. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, they never see, absolutely.
When we was in Osaka, and my boy, he got the beard and everything. We're filming, vlogging. Some young Chinese, some jiggers came up and they was like James Harden. he said Harden. I'm like, we're dying, bro.
That is hilarious.
Yeah,
bro.
but not.
Real.
It's just that language barrier.
Absolutely.
Some women did have some words to say for me, but I didn't chalk up as racism. She's just a mean person. I needed an extra ticket at the train, but she just didn't understand me. So I'm trying to say ticket, I'll pay, this and that. And he was like, in Japan, you speak Japanese. And I'm like, and I'm just not even like, I'm like, you see me struggling to translate. You speak English.
Yeah.
So you just decide to yell at me rather than help me?
Okay, gotcha.
Like she's just mad I didn't speak Japanese. But you find mean people anywhere, right? No place is 100% perfect.
That's real.
But I noticed they're great.
Absolutely, they are. For sure, bro. I got to get back. I was there for about 8 days, 7 to 8 days, man. It was beautiful. We was dry dock there in the Coast Guard, man. Loved it, bro. Loved it there, for sure.
Yeah, I want to, hopefully I'm blessed with kind of a segment of my life where I can go back and forth maybe a couple times a year. I don't know if I want to be stationed there at all, but freedom of travel.
That's right,
when it makes sense. But hey, I feel like really back to the podcast, I think this is going to open up a different world for me, man.
Bro.
I really do.
Is it, we spoke off camera regarding, the green screen. Could you morph it to where it's like, you can have Japanese artists like on the? Is that possible? I don't know much about.
Well,
how that
the people
works. Like,
actually need to be sitting there.
Okay, that's
next
what I was
to
about to
me,
say. I didn't.
in
You know what I
reality,
mean? Okay, gotcha.
because of the delay,
Okay,
there would be
for
some type of
sure.
delay.
Gotcha, okay.
But at that background is whatever I can
crazy.
make it. You know, we could be in space. You know, whatever. If we're talking about Waffle House, we'll put Waffle House up there.
Right.
Yeah, so it'll be great. But I have traveled with it. I pulled up on GSU campus actually, and
That's
I had
great.
I didn't have the green screen, but I could set it up. Set up a
Absolutely.
pull up green
Absolutely.
screen, and I had a sign: if you can rap, sit down. So they sat down,
like
and that's on YouTube too.
Oh, that's dope, bro.
Yeah, it's great, man. And
Where
it
do you
gets
get the
people,
creative ideas? Like, where do you get that from? The creativeness, like just
I'm not gonna lie, Beatboxing and Bullshit came. I was sitting on the toilet.
just
Sitting on the toilet, boy.
beatbox and bullshit.
I really was, but the actual that I framed it out on the potty. But when I did a show, and I always used to open my shows because with the showcase culture, there'll be 20 artists you hear in one night, right?
Gotcha.
And mostly you're there because you're supporting a specific
one or
artist,
two,
right?
absolutely.
So by the time if I'm artist number 18, you're drained. Like I can't even blame you,
right.
but I gotta give you like a pickup. I gotta give you like an espresso shot.
Absolutely.
So I'd go up there, and I used to go by KEATS the Geek.
Gotcha.
So I'd be like, "Hello, I'm KEATS the Geek." Let me just before we start, I'm just gonna test the mic. Before I start, I'm gonna test the mic. I'm ready. And I'd just go and people, I'd have the DJ, my favorite part is like the DJ will be checking their system like, yo, did I hit the cue? And I'm like, nah, it's me.
That's hard,
it's
bro.
me.
That's dope.
And then they
That's
notice
dope.
it, and I'm looking at them like, and they're like,
dope,
oh, nah.
That is dope,
And then
bro.
I'll see people look up from their phones,
Right.
put their phone away. I'm like, yeah, I got you. Got you. Now
Exactly.
let's get
Now let's
started.
get to
Now
it.
I have your respect.
That's dope, bro.
Let's get into the
That's
music.
dope. That's what's
yeah.
up.
So that's really, and it's even the same. If it's such a great icebreaker because when you put just like here, when you put the headphones on, you hear it. It's very crisp.
Right.
And when you hit that,
Automatic.
it's like, oh, that hard, bro.
No,
Like I know because
automatic.
no one's heard anything.
No
like
one's
that.
doing that, bro.
No one's doing it. And it's like, yo, let's go. We're in this together. Let's
dope,
rap.
bro.
Like let's have fun. And it's
Absolutely.
rarely times. It's not ever just let's have fun. It's never. That's why it feels very 90s because 90s was just let's have fun, bro. All that. Yeah, even like
Come on, bro.
Amanda Bynes show.
Come on, bro. Absolutely.
You know,
Bro, like-
Live in Color, Martin. It was just a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Let's
Colorful.
have
It
fun.
was bro,
Colorful, fun. The fun is what brought
Absolutely,
the
bro.
traffic, right? It was fun, but now it's just stats and our metrics say that if we have this content creator bundled with this, the traffic that'll drive because it's like, bro,
Real, bro.
like it's just a lack of real shit. So this is some real shit because it's real talent.
Absolutely.
Bring a
Absolutely.
little bit of bullshit.
Come on,
Which is-
right.
Everybody
right.
needs it. You know what I mean? Let's
Absolutely.
not take
It's
anything too
entertainment.
seriously.
Absolutely.
But when you have the
bro.
talent to back it and the originality, you can afford to have a little bit of bullshit
That's
because
right.
you already know. And I'd put the timestamp for people that just want to see the rap.
Gotcha.
You know, it's your timestamp.
Okay.
23 minutes
Gotcha.
in, boom, just go right there.
Absolutely. That's
You know,
dope. That's dope.
long form content. I've learned a lot, so it's a lot of boxes you got to check.
Absolutely.
You know, how does this translate into short form? Is this long form? Is it podcast? Is it good as just audio?
Absolutely.
You know, is
Gotcha.
everything mixed right?
Right. You actually, we spoke off camera regarding, everything you learned as far as editing. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's one of the biggest investments you made in yourself as far as like?
Bro, editing come the easiest to me.
Wow.
Man. I love editing. And I feel like that's the biggest hurdle for a lot of people. A lot of people do not like editing.
Wow.
That's like the strongest bone you have to have, I feel like, in this content creation.
Absolutely.
Because paying an editor can be expensive. And not only that, you have to, editing is a sauce. No one editor edits the same.
That is so true.
You know, so
Music
once
video,
you,
anything, whatever it is.
exactly.
Absolutely.
You can tell editors from that. Oh, I know such and such edited this because they always do this cut, or they like these transitions. Just like a director, I can
Absolutely.
tell
That's so
this
true.
is a Nolan
Yeah,
film.
this is
This is
Tarantino.
Tarantino,
Absolutely.
right? So it
That's so
makes
true,
sense. So
bro.
when you have an editor and you put things in your bag, it's like the content will live or die by that piece of editing or how it was put together. Because the editor's in charge of telling the story, how they tell the story, because they're in charge of what comes out
Gotcha.
and what stays in.
Wow.
So I know just at the point, like, this is key information to stay in. They don't need this. Let's pull that out.
Gotcha.
Let's blend it together this way, right? But my background of music and audio engineering. Okay,
Absolutely.
well, let's compress all these so at the same level. Let's EQ this, pitch this,
That's
filter
right.
that.
That's right. That's dope, bro. That's dope, man. That's what's up, bro.
Love editing though.
So what is next for you?
What's next?
Yes.
Well, like we said, Beatboxing and Bullshit. I'm actually printing. So I 3D print.
Okay.
I 3D printed these hair beads.
Come on, bro.
Right, so they're Pokeball beads.
That's what's up. That's
So
what's up.
I'm gonna be putting them on my website, KEATS 3D, coming out with the line of hair beads.
Gotcha. That's what's up, bro.
I'm 3D printing. I have something called toke packs that lets you hold your blunts.
Gotcha.
Hold your lighter and everything. Some nice colorful characters
That's
on
dope.
there.
That's dope.
And then getting this podcast off the ground.
Come on, bro.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
getting the podcast,
Absolutely.
and that I feel like that is going to reignite my branding. It's going to, because before I had a very STEM audience with the
Gotcha.
science and the planets and everything.
Gotcha.
I have a large Christian faith-based audience from
Gotcha.
Explaining God, and
That's right.
This Explaining God isn't going anywhere. So I
does
have
that
that. Yes, my Lord.
I love it, bro.
Yeah. So
I
this
love
is
it.
this is the angel Michael, and he's just ready to serve. So
I love
everything,
it,
the
bro.
answer is always yes, my Lord.
I love
So
it.
yeah, so I have Explaining God, Faith by Fashion on here, and I have the Lord's Prayer on my back with What Happens in Heaven. That's the formal name of the series. And then Beatboxing and Bullshit, which is going to be my music, and also I got a EP coming out.
I know you got some.
I got
bro,
an EP
come
coming
on,
out, man.
When you look, is this just gonna be coming before 2026?
May 23rd.
Okay, gotcha.
May 23rd.
Why? What's significant about that date?
That's just a date when all the track's gonna be done.
Gotcha.
It's ready. But also,
What's the name of this EP?
Konnichiwa.
Konishi. I love it.
I
love
have
it, bro. I
have
love
a
it.
few Japanese artists on there.
Come on. That's what's
got
up.
some of the Trap Sushi gang on
Come
there.
on now. Come on now.
And it's all produced by me. I made every
Chico
single
Black
beat
is part
on
of
there.
Trap Sushi, correct?
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
man.
Chico
Shout
Black,
out
that's
to
the
you, bro. That's
homegirl.
what's up.
Yeah, she's on there.
Dope, bro. That's what's up, man.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
That's
So I
dope.
got some. It's very Japanese Tokyo influence.
Gotcha.
So hopefully I get back out to Tokyo this year. We're supposed to be going in May. But God willing, we get back out there, shoot some content.
Come on,
so
bro.
everything is gonna work out the way it went. And it takes the stress off me.
Absolutely.
Right.
I got to get you to do a mic drop over here too, man. When
Yes,
you
sir.
come for the EP, man.
Yes,
for sure.
yes, absolutely.
For
Got
sure.
you.
Definitely,
For sure.
bro. That's what's up. Let me ask you this, Keith. When it's all said and done, what would you want for your legacy to be?
What would I want for my legacy to be? Man, I want my legacy to be, when it's all said and done, no one anywhere on this planet can say it was anything other than God's hand that led my life, because that's what it all goes back to. I could not have made a better story myself, even as the writer I am. That's the real author. So I've just let him lead, and he's gonna get everything in order. So yeah.
Dope, brother. I love it. I love it, man. Let me ask you this. Which one means most? Happiness or your legacy?
Happiness or my legacy? Happiness.
Real.
The legacy is going to work itself out, right? Because I'm not in charge of what I leave when I leave it. I'm in charge of what I leave, but not when I leave it, right? So I could think, and I think about like Nipsey Hussle, major. And as we were talking about Mount Rushmore, bro, that is, so many great people have been taken from us, dude.
Absolutely, bro.
Nipsey Hussle was such a great spirit and mind, and he taught me a lot about the dedication it takes.
That's right.
And the hustle it takes.
Absolutely.
And this is a marathon. There's no one is coming to save you.
Bro.
No one is coming to save you, bro. No one is coming to save you. Anybody out there needs it. No one is coming to save you, bro. You have all the answers. You are the answers.
Wow.
And not only is no one coming to save you, if you're really that, they're coming to stop you. They're coming to be friction. They're coming to halt you, to get you, to redirect you, bro. So not only are they going to save you, they're coming to be an adversary.
Wow.
So it's because you're not of the world, right? And it all starts to blend together. So you have to understand, you have to become stronger. And that's that anime influence. You have to work, go through that training arc, gain your skills. But my happiness is going to be me living in my promises to God, living in my promises to my spirit, because your spirit is a living thing.
Absolutely.
It can be grieved.
Come on.
When you you're doing stuff you shouldn't be doing, when you're living in infidelity, when you're doing people wrong.
Absolutely.
Right? So I don't want to grieve my spirit no more. Right? And once you start, you get used to it. you feel cleaner. You feel like pure
bro,
water.
Bro, the filthy rag, bro. Like,
Yes.
and it's like as you cleanse yourself,
Yeah.
it's like that
Clean garments,
Yeah, bro.
bro.
It's like, man, you start to feel like light, free. Like, and I know that's
Pure.
Come on, bro. I love that, bro. I love that.
Yes, sir.
Look, while we on that, man,
Man, I love being here, bro. This
Respect,
is
bro.
this is therapeutic,
Respect, bro.
man. This is so therapeutic, man. This is,
you look, bro. Anytime,
man.
bro. Like you doing the work.
Yeah,
you
bro.
doing Lord's work, bro. So you know, anytime, bro.
Yes, sir.
You have a message, bro. Like in
Yes, sir. This is
Bro,
gonna
this is
prove to be milestones, man.
real,
This is
bro.
gonna be milestones.
Like,
This is where I'm gonna bring my milestones.
man,
to.
my brother, man, for real, bro. He's like, cause you just like you said, man. Like, you know, that medicine. It's like, you know, we can talk about, but no, bro. Like the real one's they're gonna listen to what you're saying.
Yes.
That's what you're really doing. and a lot of people will hide or hinder themselves from, ashamed of the gospel, afraid to speak on that, or man, they ain't know.
Yeah, but they're gonna be ill-equipped. They're gonna be so ill-equipped and far behind. Because I've always been a person, I go with the spiritual compass. That vision that I see, I go after it. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do it all the time, but either way, I'm gonna get there. And no one can ever say in this content creation space that KEATS is on that, like, is not on that next wave. Like, bro, I'm out here 3D printing on y'all niggas.
Bro, come on,
I'm out
bro.
here literally creating stuff. Like, I'm in the computer, like, manifesting. Oh, I need a new mic. Print it. Like, like, and y'all are taking pictures in a carousel, putting stuff on there, and it's all God given. But like, a lot of people may look at me from the outside in and say, "Man, you're always, you pick one thing up and you put it down. You pick one thing up, and it's like, okay, well, you see it that way, but if God needs you not to stay in the same place, if he wants to make you well-rounded, he has to put you in this place. Okay, you got absorbed what it is from there, build you up, put you here. Absorb what you want from that, build you up, put you here, But the problem with a lot of people, they want to stay permanently in a place that was meant to be temporary.
Comfort, absolutely.
And they get comfort there. And yes, that is there to it's always going to want to hold you back.
Absolutely.
But you have to be able to detach.
You do.
It's like gum. It's sticky, but you have to get it off, throw it away, onto the next piece. Keep chewing, keep at it. So and every time you leave, you get, the spirit has a footprint. It has symptoms, it has signs, but it's a footprint.
Absolutely.
It
vague.
leaves things. It's
absolutely.
vague, it's quiet, but the more you interact with it, the more you understand what it feels like.
Wow.
You have another, okay, well, this feels like that, but after 3 times, it's, okay, well, this feels like that and that.
Gotcha.
And then after you live a year and you've gone through 10 different spiritual encounters, okay, well, this is that feeling whenever this, that happens. When my car got repoed, the feeling underneath it felt like that. When my dog got lost, this feels like
Gotcha.
that. When I got into this with the law, this felt like that.
Gotcha.
Or as simple as when I started feeling this in this relationship I wasn't supposed to be in, this feels like that. This feels like a transition. This has a spiritual DNA to it, right? A
lot of people
spiritual
don't
trail.
accept it though.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't accept what they're. Oh, they know it's there. They won't accept it.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
It is.
Is it the
Why
heart?
is that? There's a lot of things, because we are. That's a great question. Why is it that there's fear in the leap of faith? Because a lot of people cast upon us that the physical is what matters. And a lot of people will say, I feel like I'm supposed to quit my job, right? And that's the main thing. Everybody can relate. I feel like I'm not supposed to be here anymore. But when you call your mom up and say, hey, I don't feel like I'm supposed to quit. Well, what you gonna do? You don't got no job. You don't got nothing lined up. But this will be the same mother that's in church every Sunday. Talking about, it is, as a child of God, that's God's problem to give you that daily bread. You're his child. And that's the thing. I know somebody who was driving 250 miles every day to work. They would walk dogs, they would babysit, they would have to pick up some kids from daycare from South Fulton, drive up to Marietta, and all along their day from 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. was 250 miles in total. And I said, you need to quit that. Now, they're seeing they need to quit it, but it's like, how can God bless you when you're not leaving no room for the blessing? Yeah, how's he supposed to fit what he wants to give you in 250 miles? So she quit. She freed up that space for in a day. When she told that family, hey, I'm going through something right now, I can't do this anymore. Right. He said, oh, I had no idea. Why don't we cut your hours? We'll pay you double. You tell us when you want to come in, and we'll pay you double so you don't have to do those other jobs. Because we want you to stay here. Right? And all you had to do was surrender and be willing to. God wanted to, and that's the thing. We think that God is not influencing people. In the book of Exodus, one of the biggest things I pull from it is that God hardened Pharaoh's heart. God can lighten your heart. God can influence the decisions the other people make. You don't have to be a Christian for God to be able to work with you.
Absolutely.
God has access to everyone he wants.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's like, oh, well, how can God work with them? But they Buddhist. You know, it's like that don't matter.
Absolutely.
Right? You know, Abraham was a pagan. Moses was a killer. God can use anyone God wants. So once you understand that, it's like, oh, God can move any piece he wants at one time.
And make way.
Right, to make way. But it's like, if you're in the way, and I'm sitting here, you added up all those miles and 250. God must be looking at you like, where I'm supposed to work with you.
Bro, like, what? And like,
where's the free space, bruh? Like, where I can't do nothing. Like, you're giving me no. So I'm like, yo, free up that space. Let God work, because God, this is not what he wanted for you.
Absolutely, bro.
So
absolutely.
A lot of people, back to your question, why don't people jump? It's because we feel like we have to carry all of this weight on our shoulders when we don't understand that there is a living God who you can't see. We're so attached to our physical eyes when we only see, less than 1%?
Absolutely.
Physically of like light and everything. And you have to have a certain mindset, a certain aptitude to understand that, right? You have to have a certain revelation, and it starts with faith. But it can be scary because, again, once you start living in the stuff you can't see, which is the spiritual, everyone that's around you that's not in that, it looks crazy.
You look crazy. It, like what you're doing or what you're even thinking about. How could you leave the flock? You know, like, what do you mean? Leave the job, what do you mean? Like, this is what we do.
Man,
like,
I don't know if I told you this last time, but the eagle, when the eagle makes a nest and has the babies, they put the feathers, the soft stuff in there, the comfort, the plush. So, but then when they start to grow and the babies need to leave the nest, the mother starts picking out all the comfortable things that, so that, what used to be comfortable, it's like, they start to spread their wings. Like, ow, that pricked me. That hurt. Like, this place used to be so comfortable. I got to get up out of here. I got to leave. This place is no longer, a safe place. Is no longer comfortable for where I'm growing. I'm outgrowing the space. So that's another sign, another symptom, another way that it progresses. That job was good, but then all of a sudden, that coworker's being mean to you.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It seems like everybody's against you.
The hours change.
Yeah, exactly. You got burned on the stove.
Absolutely.
Like, it just becomes the environment becomes an enemy to you. That is God pushing you out, right? And you have to move with the feeling, like, and that comes to once you start to understand that all the other things, like Bruce Lee was saying, be like water. Be like water, my friend. Like, move. Don't be afraid. You're never supposed to be in one. I don't want to say never supposed to be in one, but it is very common to outgrow spaces, to move on to things. Like, no one has the same friend, only the same friends they started with.
Absolutely.
No one.
Absolutely.
Right? And so this life is a life of non-static nature. It is always ever moving, ever growing, ever changing, right? So things will grow, things will dissipate. And, when God wants to give you a harvest, when you know what control burns are with farms and everything, you have to, so sometimes, if you see like big smokes of fire,
right,
that's the farmer or the people who own the land. They're burning it down,
yes, absolutely, so that
prepare for the soil can be refertilized from the carbon that's made from the smoke and the ashes and everything. That's actually good for it. The death and the burning of that is rejuvenating that soil. So God got to do the same thing with you. He got to burn. He got to strip the weeds. He got to all those friends that weren't serving you, all those friends that you didn't even know in the dark were, against you. That things were not meant to receive the harvest that God planned for you. Got to pluck that. All those bad habits you were doing, got to pluck that. Got to kill that. Got to kill that so that you're fertile ground to build on.
Bro. Wow.
Right?
Integrity.
You're a wise man.
Man,
You're a wise old young man.
Right, yeah.
Real,
yeah, man.
bro,
it's
brother.
the spirit, man. That spiritual maturity is a real thing. And I've all of this stuff has been learned. It's not like I grew up. I've taken I don't watch
though.
Pop the Balloon, bruh. I don't watch I may, go on my For You just to see what's happening, but it's like, bro, I don't spend 40 minutes, eating my Chipotle, watching, people go against each other and rate people on their physical. And, I listen to sermon to educate myself, to understand, to improve my superpowers, bro. Like, that's where I'm at.
Go ahead, bro.
That's where I'm at, bro. So, yeah, it's different than that, mom, dad, ministry, pastor.
Right.
It's different than that. We way beyond that,
Absolutely.
bro. We got YouTube. We got Chat GPT.
Come on, bro.
Man, it's a different playing field right now.
Ahead, bro.
And if you don't realize that it's different than 1999, I pity that. I pray for you because you have so much at your disposal to really know the truth and to seek that out. You have so many tools, bro. Your library is right in your pocket, infinitely. The amount of time. If I have any question, my parents had to used to go find the almanac.
Come on now, bro.
Bruh. Like they had to, and not only that, you could look up a YouTube video, learn how to, who wrote the Book of John or anything,
Bro, absolutely,
what is the smell of that, after it rains, what's that smell? You could look up the video on YouTube, find it. And not only that, it's not getting to the point fast enough. Let me double it in 2 times speed.
Absolutely. Bro, that's my 1.5 everything. Bro,
Yo,
that's real, bro.
You can learn at a faster rate. Like,
bro, it's so true, bro.
We are in the future, and if people can't see that, I don't know what to do for you because I'm on it. I'm 2 times speed learning on y'all niggas.
Bro,
y'all
I'm
not
on,
even,
bro. That's real, brother. For real. Respect, Keats. Respect, bro. Bro, it's been a pleasure, bro. You got to come back and do this.
For sure.
We got to do this, bro.
For sure.
Keep
send
spreading
you
the knowledge, bro. Keep spreading that wisdom, man. Like everything you got going on, man. Just, podcasting, music, the EP.
Yes, sir.
Bro, like just keep doing the work, bro. Because this is you're on this journey in real time, and you're here, you're present. You know what you're doing. And I know what you're doing. I can look a man in his eye and tell, like, the man knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, bro, like continue this good fight. It's not gonna be easy, bro. Like, but Keats, as a child, he loves the challenge. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's real, bro. Absolutely, always. Bro. You got any remarks, anything you want to close out with?
Man, I'm just so grateful for you having me here.
Respect.
I'm excited for what the Lord has in store. It's a constant, I'm in a constant nature of staying open to letting things flow in, and the world will try to make you close that, and but be more invested, and we're only human, we are flesh, right? So it's just I'm going day by day. It's like I'm rowing a boat. Gotta keep rowing, and sometimes your arms get tired, you take a little break, have a little lunch, and then get back to rowing.
Gotta keep rowing. That's right.
So I'm just rowing this boat in the boat of life, and I just want to keep my prayer life up and influence as many people and bring as many people into the fold and the family and the kingdom as possible, man.
Absolutely.
But also have fun doing it, man.
Right.
I don't want to become unrelatable to
bro.
anybody.
Absolutely.
I don't want to become foreign to people. Just know that all this was built, you know what I mean? Everything. So yeah, just giving my life to God and doing right by in the community that I've built. Everyone is. I did not do this alone. Like,
real, bro.
People have single-handed me. Being an entrepreneur for 4 years, man. Like, people have single-handedly helped me, sustain a great lifestyle. Sometimes a bare minimum lifestyle. You know what I mean? It's been all I've been through every probably emotion in the book, man.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm excited for a next chapter.
Real.
A next chapter for sure. But yeah, man, just looking forward to having and developing the strength that I need to fulfill God's requests.
Respect.
Right? Because I could say fulfills demands, but that's the thing about free will. We have the opportunity to disobey. And one thing I've been noticing is life becomes so much better when you live on the other side of obedience. When you obey and find out what's on the other side of that. Because when you obey, sometimes you lose people you thought was friends. You lost relationships that was 3 years and long. You know, you lost maybe the prettiest person you may have been talking to. You lose, you know, your best eater. You lose everything that you thought like was really good. But then once you didn't know what was good. You didn't know it was good. You didn't know. Once you find it, once you obey, you get that, right? So, but you have to have the strength to cross over to that obedience, right? To be willing to let go whatever's not for you. Whatever results from obedience, you must be okay with, right? Because that's what needs to happen, right? So, just a man trying to obey to the best of my ability, right?
Mission, that's right.
So, yeah, man, thank you for having me, man.
Man, respect, brother, respect, man. 2025, May 23rd.
May 23rd,
Konnichiwa. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Yes, sir. And leave out on this. How many tracks do you have in store for this EP?
It is, let's say 6 to 8.
Okay, for sure, for sure. That's what's up. Definitely, bro. Already got everything. You know, like, I know. Are you doing your graphic art?
No, I have my boy Doodle who actually partners with me on Explaining God. You know, really good friend of mine.
Dope. That's what's up.
Brother in Christ as well. Yeah, shout out to Doodle, his family, all that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Dope, brother. Dope. KEATS, you already know it, man. It's tradition on the Integrity Response. If you can reach to that bowl, grab one fortune cookie, open it, and read it to your supporters.
Okay.
Just like that, we out of here.
This music is great.
My brother. Yes, sir.
Man.
Yes, sir.
Okay. May your life be a masterpiece painted with the colors of blessings.
Bro, that is... That's KEATS. Yes. That's KEATS all day. That's KEATS. Bro, I love it. I love it, bro. I love it. Respect, bro. Respect.
Yes, sir. Hold on.
Absolutely, bro. Literally, bro. The first thing I thought about was we were speaking about the 90s and Missy and Timberland and Pharrell and just like how it was vibrant and who you are and what you represent, bro. Like life, color, spectrum, bro. Like that's you, bro.
Man, that just summed up everything.
I love
summed up everything, man. Your life
crazy, bro. Absolutely.
Be a masterpiece colored with blessings.
Wow,
literally,
bro.
Literally.
I love it, bro.
I'm excited for the future, man.
Respect, KEATS 2025, man. Y'all stand by for Konnichiwa May 23rd. It'll be out soon. Appreciate y'all watching. Integrity Response 2025, KEATS.